Raw review for the September 16th episode of Raw. I'm Will, that's Brandon. We are the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast. As always, let's cheers, talk about some wrestling. Ha!
Portland, Oregon. This episode of Raw.
Yep.
Lots to kind of get into. I believe this is the last 3-hour one. Is that correct?
No, it's got a few more. It's like October 7th or something. More. It's the one after Bad Blood.
Okay.
Anyway, a lot of story stuff. And we got, it starts off with CM Punk showing up mad to the stadium. And they're like, they do, it's like their intro thing where they're in the car and they do the camera, follow him all the way to the ring. And he's pissed. He said, people ask how many matches I have left and whether you hate me or love me, you have different responses because I always say a lot more than you think. But he goes, I could only do one thing. Or I could only think of one way to end this feud. It's a hell in a cell. Everybody begged me not to. Family members were calling me saying, don't do it. My lovely wife was telling me not to do it. But the devil on my shoulder, he just told me that that was the only way to do this. He said that the devil in my heart says this is the only way to end this. Drew, I can't promise that I'll kill you, but I promise to make you bleed, and I promise you will have to kill me because I am prepared to die. I'll see you in hell. I mean, this was a deep, no crowd affair promo from CM Punk. Very serious. I'm gonna go ahead and give this a pop.
Yeah, I'm gonna pop this as well. An intense CM Punk.
Yeah.
You could tell how intense he was trying to be by the things. His voice was a little bit raspier this week, and like you said, no crowd interaction, just kind of down to it. You could see it in his eyes how tired, worn out he is. It's nice to see that side of Punk. Nice to see Punk kind of carry the feud for a week while McIntyre's not there this week. Overall, a good way to start the show.
Yeah, not really much else to say. Basically, what you expect at this point from this feud is that we get a segment once every month or so where they both beat the hell out of each other, and then we go one off between a couple of them. Drew McIntyre's back next week. Punk's on NXT tomorrow. Maybe we'll get a run in there, but not much else there. Sheamus being interviewed by Kathy Kelly, and he's talking about how Pete hit him where it hurts. Pete Dunne hurt him where it hurts. He took his one and only shot at the IC title from him. Would have been a Grand Slam champion, thing that he's been looking for his entire career. And then he called the man Butch about 10,000 times and said, it's time for a banger. And a banger they do because it's Pete Dunne versus Sheamus. And, I mean, you put those two names on a card versus each other, and, I mean, they're good at wrestling. What
yeah, good at wrestling. Like you said, Kathy Kelly cursed, though.
Kathy Kelly cursed. You get interviewed by Kathy Kelly before the match, didn't go your way.
No.
Sheamus would start out hot, pissed off. He's mad at Pete Dunne, but he would go for the 10 beats of the Ballard, and Pete Dunne was like, no, I am the manipulator of joint, whatever it is.
Joint manipulator.
The joint manipulator, and he goes for an elbow. He bends the wrist and then breaks the elbow over the rope, and he really gets the best of Sheamus for a good amount of this match. He's doing everything. He's targeting the fingers, tries to stomp his fingers on the steel ringside steps, everything. He would go to the top rope where Sheamus was going to give him a white noise off the top rope, but Pete Dunne would reverse it into a freaking sit-down power bomb, and I was like, Pete Dunne, you're a strong dude. Looking real good in the ring. But eventually, when they were beating the hell out of each other, Pete Dunne would inch his way over to the apron underneath the rope, and Sheamus is still trying to beat the hell out of him, and the ref is trying to pull Sheamus off, and you see Pete Dunne reach down and he grabs, what does he grab? A shillelagh. And he tries to bring it into the ring, and Sheamus is like, what the hell are you doing? He gives him a high knee, and Pete Dunne's kind of laying there like, owie, that hurt. And Sheamus gets a shillelagh, and he's like, what the hell? Are you going to hit me with this? And the ref's like, please give me that. I will confiscate it. And when the ref confiscates it, Pete Dunne chooses a bigger weapon.
Yeah.
He gets a cricket bat. A big old paddle is basically what it was. Knocks Sheamus right over the noggin with it. Hits Sheamus with a cricket bat, obviously. 1, 2, 3 right there. Pete Dunne gets the win. We're continuing the Pete Dunne versus Sheamus storyline here. I'm going to go ahead and pop this, and I will say that I just want them to hit each other with something bigger every week. You go from shillelagh to cricket bat to maybe a stop sign to a... I don't even know what you do.
That would be nice. Or maybe they just travel like shillelaghs, very Irish, right? And then you have cricket bats, which are used all over the world. Maybe they go to different parts of the world. Next week they get something, that's I'm not smart enough to think about this. But let's go ahead and do it. As for the match itself was good. These two really good in the ring, really good chemistry. A good way to start out the night. A lot of good wrestling tonight on Raw. I thought the matches really kind of shine through tonight. We get to see more of Pete Dunne and Sheamus. I'm not upset about it. We always talk about needs to be some feuds to keep our interest other than title ones. That's what, I don't know, it's what wrestling is. You need it to flow, right? And something like this is something where I can get behind both guys. I don't really see at the end of the day, obviously, Sheamus is going to put Pete Dunne over, hopefully, down the road. Sheamus is a pro. And we really just get to see more Pete Dunne. Big Pete Dunne fan.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to... At this point, I just know what I'm getting with Sheamus.
Mm-hmm.
Put him in a ring with somebody that's good at wrestling, and they make magic, and I like it. So
yeah, and I don't need... let's be honest, I don't need Sheamus to go after the world title. You know what I mean? Like, I know sometimes people are like, well, this person deserves this person deserves that. He's doing his role, he's serving his purpose, and it's great right now.
Exactly. We would go backstage where Damien Priest and Rhea Ripley. Sorry, I thought I said the girl from Alien. Rhea, or whatever her name is. But it's Damien Priest and Rhea Ripley backstage, and Jey Uso joins them. And Jey Uso is back there, and he wants to help Damien if needed for their tag title match tonight.
Ah, boy.
And when he offers, Damien's like, nah, bro, I'm good. I'm going to destroy the Judgment Day by myself. I kind of want to do that. And when that happens, Xavier Wood walks over, and everybody's like, why are you here? And Jey Uso's like dapping him up anyways. And Damien and Rhea are like, what? And Xavier Woods like, I'm excited about my match, or me and Kofi's match tonight. New Day taking on the Judgment Day for the tag team titles. And he wants to say he knows that the Judgment Day are going to get involved. And he does not want any help tonight. He says it's been a lot of years since the New Day has got those titles, and they want to prove that they still got it.
Yeah.
And they all agree.
Said, 3 years, 2021?
Yeah.
Which I had not known it had been that long. It didn't feel like that long, but.
Yeah. Anyway, they all agree, basically. Damien's like, all right, whatever you say, bro. And then we cut to The Miz and Braun Strowman. And The Miz and Braun Strowman are back there, and Braun's getting ready for his big old match against Bronson Reed, and he's got a big old bruise on his arm, and The Miz is like, you good, bro? And he's like, yeah, I'm good. I'm still a monster. And The Miz was like, hey, by the way, why'd you say that I couldn't take on Bronson Reed last week? And Braun Strowman's like, nah, it's no offense to you, dude. I just think that you have to be a monster to take on a monster. So, when that happens, of course, it would lead to a Natalya match. Natalya and Zoe Stark. Natalya enters with Lyra Valkyria and Zelina. And Zoe Stark enters with the Pure Fusion Collective. Yeah. Anyway, we get a back and forth here. PFC obviously gets some distractions in where Zoe would get her good old-fashioned springboard missile drop kick that we love so much. She does it better than just about everybody. But Natalya would get a comeback. She'd get a bunch of super kicks off. A bunch of technical wrestling here that you would expect from Natalya match. But Zoe Stark can keep up with her at every pace. There would be a weird-ass ending, though. Zoe would go for the Z360, and they would do seesaw roll-ups for the next 60 to 90 seconds. I mean, roll-up, into roll-up, into roll-up, into roll-up. And I was like, what the hell is happening here? PFC or somebody's going to catch her, right, and keep her down? No, that's not what happens. Natalya would eventually get up, pop up out of one of the seesaw pins, go for a sharpshooter. Zoe Stark would roll her up again, and Natalya would reverse the roll-up into her own roll-up. 1, 2, 3. Natalya gets the win here over Zoe Stark. And it's going to sound like a repeated drum every week from me and us. I have to drop this because it just doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry. Gotta drop it. Why is why are they still a thing? It's literally just losing every single week.
Yeah, it's losing every week. I'm sure the people at home just saw my face throughout that whole your whole match breakdown there. Not a lot of excitement in this match. Not a lot of excitement talking about the match. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense, like you said. I'm dropping it.
Yeah.
Zoe Stark gets a loss for PFC that they don't need any more losses. And you get Natalya, who, I mean, let's be honest, Natalya's never been a huge needle mover.
Yeah.
She just hasn't been. She's won titles. That's great. That's awesome. But her coming back, it's just kind of like, oh, well, you just came back, and Joe Tessitore said something about like what a career-defining or career-moving week for Natalya because she returned last week and beat Zoe Stark this week. I'm just like, is it?
It just doesn't make any sense. Like, Natalya can do the whole comeback thing and get some matches in and stuff, but like, why would she not come back and be the force that puts this PFC over? Like, we don't need to get into it. We say it every single week. This PFC is made of 3 women that are absolute studs, and all they're doing is losing week to week basis. And there wasn't even an attack afterward. They didn't even try to make themselves look strong. It was literally just, okay, you lost, next.
Yeah. I mean, it's really started to go downhill since the name. The name happened, the Tron.
Yeah.
And ever since then, it's kind of just.
I don't even need to keep talking about it. It just is not working at all. We go backstage with Kathy Kelly. She's now with Rhea Ripley. And Finn Balor immediately shows up. And Finn Balor's like, you know what? I feel like I need to finally get this off my chest and tell you that you are just like Damien Priest. I hate you. You're a loser. You're one of the reasons that we all broke up. You only cared about yourself. You said that we were family, and you lied. It didn't mean anything to you this entire time. I was like, you get her. You get her, Finn. Good for you. And Rhea was like, you're really not blaming me for your ego problems. I loved my family, but at Bad Blood, you all will lose. And Finn said, you know what? I'm just going to say it. You remember when Liv was flirting with Dom every single week and getting him nuggies and PS5s and he was trying to stay away? I was the devil on his shoulder. I was the one telling him he should go for it. And right when Rhea was going to respond and get all mad, Mr. Jey Uso does show up again. He goes, we got a problem here, Oos. And Finn says, yeah, you're out of your league in every part of this, Jay. And then Finn takes off, and Rhea immediately shifts her focus to Jay, and she's like, you know what? He's actually not wrong a little bit, or I'm scared that he's not wrong. And Jay's like, what, that you're out of my league? And she's like, no, not that, but that you got an IC title match against Braun Breaker. You should be focused on that. And Jay's like, I'm about to go focus on that right now. But this is funny. I like this.
yeah, it was nice. It was funny. I liked what Finn had to say.
Yeah.
Again, it's another layer into Finn. We, for the longest time when he was in the Judgment Day, we didn't get to see much of Finn.
Yeah.
Like, you know who Finn is. Everybody knows that he's good in the ring. Everybody knows that how good he can be character-wise and stuff like that, but it was so hidden for so long. He was just out there wrestling great matches every week.
Yeah.
Which, don't get me wrong, I love that, but I need to see some character stuff. We're finally getting to see that character stuff from Finn, and it's really good.
He's so cartoonish, and it's great.
Mm-hmm.
It's like how he goes from little to like just blow up. He's like, you know what? I gotta say this, and it's just funny. Anyway, Jay would take himself to the ring, and he says he's got a match against Braun Breaker. Yeet. He's excited. Yeet. I wanted this for a long time. Yeet. I finally got my first shot at a championship in a while. Yeet. And I'm doing that because that's literally what he was doing. He was doing the what chance with the yeets. It was working. I liked it.
Yeah.
But Braun Breaker obviously hears all this mess and he wants to come out. And he goes, we got dogs in the building, and all those people who were just yeeting were woofing.
Uh-huh.
They were barking.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, this is great.
Yeah.
Like, this is what happens when two top, over guys get in a ring together and they're ready to fight. It's great. He goes, I told you to stay away, but I guess you are very inspiring. He goes, I did my homework, and you've been here for 14 years. You're a big star. You've managed to do a bunch of things, but in 6 months, I have done more than you have in 14 years of being a singles competitor. He goes, and I did it all without my family. I didn't even need my family's name. Could have used it, didn't use it. He goes, the only family I need is this title. This title is my family, and I'm a dog. That's what I do. Next Monday, I will expose that you are nothing without your family, and Jay does not like this very much. So the camera gets really close to Jay's face. It was good camera work. I liked it. And Jay said, I see the dog in you, Oos. He says, I won't take you lightly, but I've been winning shifts since you were in a diaper. He goes, I'm a dog walk your ass. The IC title reign going to be short and sweet, just like your NFL career. And when he says this, Braun Breaker doesn't like it. Braun Breaker punches him in the face. He goes for the off the rope spear, but Mr. J is one step ahead of him. Jey Uso spears the socks off of Braun Breaker. Good segment here, man. Crowd's going wild. Crowd was just doing whatever they wanted to do. If they were barking, they were barking. If they were yeeting, they were yeeting. This is perfect. Pop.
Yeah, I'm gonna pop this as well. Like we said when we watched it, kind of the perfect way to build like a mid-card title feud right now. You take two guys that are extremely over, put them together. This is going to be a good one. I'm going to really enjoy this feud if they make it last. I really hope it's kind of not a one-off, like we were kind of talking a little bit. I guess Michael Cole's going to have to pass along that note about the 23 miles per hour to Joe Tessitore, because Joe didn't say it this week, and Braun got speared. So I'm just saying, I don't remember him ever failing like that, getting speared when Michael Cole used to say it.
I blame on Joe.
Yeah.
Goddamn Joe.
Yeah,
Tessitore.
Joe needs to do his homework.
Yeah, but in terms of it, like, I'm so bought in just from this. Like, it really does feel like this is just the feud that is begging to happen. And hopefully they run it for a couple times. I'd much rather them make this an actual program and give Jay the time that he needs to really shine. And this would give him a place to finally fully bring out what he's got in a singles competitor. And then obviously Braun Breaker is just doing, I mean, he is next in line. Dude is incredible. And these guys deserve more than just some one-off on Raw next week. They deserve PLE matches. They deserve a good program here. So I'm fully bought in just from this one promo.
Yeah, you're going to run into the problem, obviously, with like the Bloodline, Civil War stuff.
Yep.
If it all happens when we think it's going to happen. So we might get robbed a little bit of it. I hope not. I hope they do like a Raw, Bad Blood, maybe another Raw episode. You could do it that way, maybe. Just feel like they kind of need to give it the time, because people that I've seen are behind Jay again after the win last week. People are behind Braun Breaker, like you said, and it's really nice to have two sides. I feel like really have fan bases that are growing, or I mean, Jay's kind of already there, but like Braun Breaker's growing. He's not that level, but he's going to get there eventually. And it's nice to see like two guys have people behind them so much.
Yeah, it's not just like one yay, one, it's not like a heel versus it's not just a heel versus a face. It's like, yeah, Braun's playing the heel, but he's still got all the love in the world. Mm-hmm. So it's just like,
yeah. And like with the Sami Braun stuff, like I know people were kind of tired of Sami. So it's nice to see like an IC feud where both sides have interested in them to win.
Yeah, I agree. The only thing that I will say is hopefully the Judgment Day stays away from this match, because I don't want Braun wrapped up in that right now.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll go backstage, and Bianca is stretching, getting ready for her match against Kairi Sane, until an angry Iyo Sky appears out of nowhere, and she is just screaming, "How dare you! How dare you, cowards! You're coming after Kairi when she's got a hurt eye." And Bianca's like, "I didn't come after her. I was just scheduled to show up tonight and fight her." He's like, "If she's not ready, are you ready? Do you want to fight?" And Io's like, "I accept." And I'm like, "Oh, the only thing that would be better than a Bianca Belair Kairi Sane match would be a Bianca Belair versus Iyo Sky match."
Uh-huh.
Deal.
Yeah.
Sign me up, bro.
Yeah, sign me up. No issues there, no complaints. I thought it was cool the way they did that.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. Mm-hmm. Why you challenging her? She's hurt. I'll take you.
Yeah.
Okay. We would get our tag team championship match. We'd get Judgment Day, Finn Balor and JD, who came out alone, versus the New Day for their tag team championship. And New Day would jump out on them like crazy, proving that they still have all of it in the tank. I mean, just tag team moves galore. I mean, stuff where Kofi was throwing Xavier off his shoulders onto guys. I'm pretty sure Kofi did a moonsault off Xavier's shoulders onto onto JD.
Yeah.
I mean,
and then he did that like front suicide dive over the top or whatever, like the front flip or whatever.
Yeah, over the top rope. I mean, stuff was going absolutely crazy. I mean, they were really putting on here. But when things were going at their very worst, of course, Liv, Dom, and Carlito got to come out because of the Judgment Day. And like Finn Balor said, there's a playbook. Mm-hmm. This is play number 1.
Uh-huh.
But right away, on the way to the ring, because remember, Xavier Woods told Damien Priest and Rhea Ripley and Jey Uso to stay in the back. They want to prove this. LWO shows up out of nowhere to beat up on the Judgment Day. I mean, they're like 10 steps behind them. Like this.
Yeah, they didn't even let him get very far.
No, all hell breaks loose. Kofi Kingston is. They have JD in the ring, and they've beaten up on him, and Finn Balor's on the outside too, and everybody's out there fighting now. And Kofi Kingston's like, "Screw it, I'm gonna go to the top rope and do a suicide dive onto everybody." So he does that. Xavier Woods takes advantage of the moment. He goes into the ring, puts JD in the middle of the ring, top rope elbow, Macho Man Randy Savage style, nails it. He's on top of JD with the pin. He counts to 4, 5, 6. What's going on here? Ref's on the outside of the ring. trying to get Kofi Kingston off all these people because all hell is broken loose.
Yep.
When that happens, Xavier Woods like, what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
And how does he even? So he goes to help Kofi. No. Kofi comes back into the ring. JD tags. Okay, yeah. So Xavier goes back into the ring to attack JD because obviously he's back up. It's been a long time. When that happens, they like run into the rope. Finn blind tags JD to where Xavier can't see it. Yep. JD eventually gets a chokehold and he lays down with it on Xavier Woods. Coup de grace from Finn Balor. 1, 2, 3. JD and Finn Balor retain their tag team titles, but fun stuff happens after the match here. Xavier Woods says no to the consoling from Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston tries to like put a, give him the old shoulder pat. We'll get him next time. Xavier is screaming, mad. Something needs to change. All this happens every freaking time. We go backstage right after the match, and Xavier Woods is cussing out LWO. You ruined it. Why'd you come out there? Turns out Kofi Kingston is the one that told them to come out.
Yes.
He said, we're going to need the help, man. And Xavier Woods is like, I literally told Rhea Ripley and Damien Priest to not come out here. Why would you do this? And Kofi Kingston's like, well, we need the help ever since E's not here. And that pissed Xavier Woods off. Oh, so I'm not good enough. We're not good enough. We can't do it without E. And he goes, what I'm more mad about is the fact that the LWO knew the plan for our tag team match and not even me, the guy in the match. Mm-hmm. And he goes, something needs to change. He storms off. Woo! It's a lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff. A lot of talking.
A lot of story stuff. Honestly, though, I loved all of it. Mm-hmm. I think it was perfectly done for the Xavier Woods story and Kofi Kingston story. This did 10 times more for me in 20 minutes than the entire month-long feud with Karrion Kross. I'm popping it.
Yeah, I'm going to pop this as well. It was nice to see the New Day back in the ring. Nice to see them tagging again. Like you said, they haven't missed a beat at all, which I thought was really impressive. Judgment Day gets the win here. We kind of didn't know how this match would go, but the way, like when the match started, you and I talked about it. We're like, oh, well, I would prefer more New Day stuff. Judgment Day keep the titles. It's exactly what happened, so I'm happy with that. The only thing that I kind of have a little bit of an issue with, I guess, is the way that they did it in the match with the ref not counting and all of that. The crowd at the arena got all the heat on the ref, which like I get it.
Good point.
Like I understand it.
Good
I understand
point.
why they're mad at
Good
the
point.
ref, but it's like also they're all mad at the ref, but then Xavier's mad at Kofi, But regardless, the stuff afterwards kind of saved that and turned it around to where it's like, okay, now you can really see that divide.
Are you prepared for a New Day split up? Are you okay with that? Like, is this a good decision to do?
I think so. I wrestle back and forth because we talk about the tag team division needing relevance, and New Day can give you that credibility, and they can go in the ring as they showed tonight. They can have good matches still. But I do also think it is time for something different. I mean, New Day's been around for God knows however long, and doing something different necessarily isn't a bad thing. It's going to take some time to get used to. You can have them do some single stuff. You can have them team with other people. You can have them go against each other in tag matches like that. And then at the end of the day, have them come back and do some more runs together later on.
Yeah, you made a good point, though, of like the Raw desperately needs tag teams. And they proved tonight again. I mean, they still got it. If they can go like that, like, oh, wow, I'd love to see the New Day get another tag title run. But on the other side, just a little bit of work Xavier did tonight of being mad. I was like, okay, I want to see that Xavier Woods too. That'd be awesome. That's an Xavier Woods that can challenge for intercontinental titles down the road, stuff like that. So, it'd be hard to see him go, but it feels like it'd be it's time for a change. Let's do it, Yeah,
and Xavier's the one that I don't want to say gets overshadowed, but I mean, he's the one that hasn't won a singles title. He did win King of the Ring, but he hasn't won a singles title. I think depending on when you started watching WWE and how you got brought into it, at times you might only know Xavier Woods from like Up, Down, Down and the video game side of things, which is a great thing to know him by. But I think at times he has gotten overshadowed. So I feel like they could really play on that and it could really do a good job.
Totally agree. We got a very short Howdy tape that was gibberish. There was a QR code online. We filmed this right afterward. I haven't got to dig into the QR code. I saw there was something maybe alluding to a woman joining. I'm not sure. So maybe Alexa Bliss, something to talk about down the road. Mm-hmm. We would then get our Bronson Reed versus Braun Strowman match. And Jays, these were two big men doing what big men do.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it.
I mean, come on now. So the match starts. Bronson Reed's already in the ring. Braun Strowman's coming to the ring, and Reed like flinches at Braun Strowman as if he was gonna like dive out of the ring at him. Mm-hmm. And when he does that, the ref kind of stops him, and then Strowman's like, you know what? Screw you! I'll run into the ring. So Strowman runs into the ring. Reed charges him, and Braun Strowman throws him into the turnbuckle. And when he does that, top turnbuckle breaks off. Boom. Mm-hmm. Middle top rope down.
Yep.
Everybody's looking around like, what the hell are we doing here, man?
It was kind of out of nowhere to start the match.
I was like, whoa.
It was more out of nowhere because it's unexpected. It's like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Yeah. And so literally he starts the match like that. And then he freaking choke slams Bronson Reed, gets him up high too. Mm-hmm. When that happens, Bronson Reed, he rolls to the outside of the ring because owie, that hurt. Mm-hmm. And Strowman indicates to the crowd, time to do my runaround. Mm-hmm. And when he does that, the camera's on Braun Strowman, and all of a sudden the dude in a blue shirt is just flying at Strowman's face.
Some guy in a yeet shirt is flying through the air.
Bronson Reed picked up a fan and threw him at Braun Strowman. Chucked him at him.
Hit him. Like, direct hit.
Direct hit. Chucked him. Chucked a human. Gotta love it. And Bronson Reed is celebrating this moment. Braun Strowman gets up, spears him to the barricade.
Barricade just broken.
Broken.
Everywhere.
And they kind of treat it like that is end of segment in a way. They go to commercial break, and when we come back, Strowman's in the ring kind of doing his I'm a big boy, for the crowd. And Reed is almost back to the set as if the refs split them up. They didn't even ring the bell, so the match never even started. But when Strowman sees that, he's like, no, I kind of want to keep fighting. He sprints all the way to the back.
Says, Bronson Reed turns and says something. He points and says something.
Shit talks.
And when Braun Strowman hears that, he's all the way on the other side.
Big man got there quick.
He did.
Big man got there quick. He ran all the way to the stage. He shoulder tackles Bronson Reed over like the moving boxes, like the facility boxes that they always have at wrestling events, the big blue boxes. He goes over that and he picks him, he throws him against walls, and he's throwing him against more boxes as they're moving further and further to the back. And he throws him onto one of the boxes, and then Strowman starts to like do his thing. He's pumped up. He sees a random golf cart, flips that thing. He literally picks it up, flips it, hits the cameraman. Camera breaks. Green screen. We cut back, and all of a sudden, Bronson Reed's running on one of the boxes. He tsunamis off the boxes through
two tables
to Braun Strowman,
and he kind of walks off into like this little like corner.
Yeah,
and you're like, oh, okay, that's it. Well, Braun Strowman just kind of like no-sells the double table.
No, he's pissed. He just flipped the golf cart. Man, it's adrenaline's through the roof. So he gets up, and Bronson Reed's catching his breath over against the wall, and Braun Strowman's like, screw the wall. Sprints and just spears him through the wall. Everybody's down. They got medical in there. They got security in there. That's the end of that. Book it every week. Do it again and again and again.
Yeah.
Pop.
Yeah, it's got to be a pop.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this was hands down for me the most fun part of the night.
Oh, yeah.
We always talk about how wrestling needs more fun stuff. Just make it entertaining. Don't go over the top to where it's like, well, this is just cheesy stuff. Man, this is two big meaty men slapping meat, doing crazy stuff. We're like, how can they top the car? Like, we were like, realistically, like, how can you do that? This man got put through a car. And you see this, and you're like, yeah, you know what? Give me more of this.
I think this is the best work that Braun Strowman's doing, just because of what those two are okay. Like, to just say yes to it. It feels like when they're planning their matches backstage, or they're planning their segment, they're just like, yes. Let's do all of it. Mm-hmm. And they just totally acknowledge that what they are big people, that the crowd just wants to see them do feats of strength and craziness. And that's exactly what they give you. And it's like, I could watch this every single week.
Yeah.
I don't need a title. I don't need stakes. I just need which big guy wins today. I'm totally bought in.
Yeah. And I mean, the thing is, like, both the guys come out looking good, you know?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It's like, yeah, you thought Strowman kind of got the upper hand because he put Bronson Reed through the barricade, and Bronson Reed walks off. And then it's like, But then Braun Reed gets the tables, and then Braun Strowman does get the last laugh this week. So I guess we'll need to do it one more time at least. Yeah. But I mean, it's just really entertaining stuff, and it goes by quick.
Yeah, it does. So it's like Bronson Reed put Strowman through a car. Strowman put Bronson Reed through a wall. Mm-hmm. What's the payoff? Destruction.
It's got to be like through a building or something. Like
that'd be awesome. Actually,
brick, like something like that.
That would be awesome. Anyway, this literally pans. Adam Pearce is like on a phone call, like talking about the situation. He's like, "Are they all right? Like, get them out of the stadium, get them medical." And then he turns, and Ludwig's there. Ludwig's like, "I've came to talk about the opponent that you've picked for Gunther." And Adam Pearce is like, "I haven't picked any opponent for him. In fact, Sami Zayn's staring him in the face, and he keeps saying no. Sami Zayn wouldn't be a bad opponent. Why didn't you just say yes to that?" And Ludwig's like, "I want an adequate opponent. I do not want Sami Zayn." and they're standing in front of a TV, and while they're talking about Sami Zayn, his music hits, and that you can see him making his entrance behind him
through the TV,
which is
but
cool.
It's still focused on them.
Yeah,
I thought that was a really cool shot.
Cool. Adam Pearce is like, "Well, I think he's going out to the ring to talk about it. If you want to go talk to him, and by the way, if Gunther has a problem with me picking people, he can come talk to my face." This leads directly to Sami Zayn in the ring, right? Mm-hmm. That's how the logic works.
We always thought Sami Zayn would stop with this "I'm the Intercontinental Champion" speech.
No, it's the Intercontinental Champion speech, just different. same, but different. He talks about how Bret Hart inspired him last week. You know, hearing Bret Hart talk about the Canadian champion, and that's the champion that Sami Zayn is destined to be. He needs to win the World Heavyweight Champion, to be a fighting champion that the crowd deserves. But he's doing it in the whole Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah, he's just screaming.
Yeah, he's yelling the entire
He's just yelling at this point.
It's like, calm down, sir. Calm down. But Ludwig comes out because obviously he's mad. He goes, "Sami, what are you doing? Out of everyone, why are you asking for a World Heavyweight Championship match? It's nonsense. Because Gunther is not scared of you like you say." Because Sami did say, he mentioned that Gunther is scared of him. In WrestleMania, he beat him. And Gunther knows he's scared. And he goes, "WrestleMania was a great day for you. It was the only time I ever saw your parents look up to you. Normally they're looking down at you." He goes, "Miracles don't happen twice, so it'll never happen again." And Sami goes, "Why are you speaking for Gunther? In fact, why are you speaking for him at all? Why are you out here? Why don't you speak for yourself?" He's like, "I can tell you're just like me. You wanna take the world by storm and have your own voice, and that's who you should be. You should stop being Gunther's mouthpiece." And when he's talking smack like that, Gunther has no choice but to come out. And Gunther walks into that ring, and he doesn't acknowledge Sami Zayn. He looks directly at Ludwig, and he's like, "You have anything to say to me? You got anything to say?" And Ludwig, he starts to get all red. He starts to kind of man up, and he yells, "You know what? Yes, I do. I've been holding this in for a long time," and drops the mic, attacks Sami Zayn. Hits him with like a Sister Abigail, it looks like. I don't know what that move's called.
It's the setup for that, but then it's like just like a spinning DDT look. But yeah, it's basically a spinning DDT, but it is the Sister Abigail.
Yeah, it is. It's a setup into a spinning DDT. But when he does that, he nails Sami with that. He kind of holds Sami up to look at Gunther, and Gunther just goes, "In regards to your challenge, the answer is no." Mm-hmm. Walks out of the ring.
Yep.
And when he walks out of the ring, Ludwig is like, "You know what? I kind of want to beat up on the Sami guy some more because it was fun." And he goes to do the Sister Abigail DDT thing again, but Sami gets the best of him, ends it with a haluva kick. At the end of the night, a little bit later, we have an interview with Ludwig and Kathy Kelly where Ludwig says that he's fighting Sami Zayn next week. So that's going to be good. I thought all of this was good. I'm not obviously it was the Sami Zayn Intercontinental Championship thing, but the work of Ludwig is really, really, really good here. He is, he's getting there, man. I'm impressed with him. And then the little hints of Gunther just being a dick here and there was good. Pop.
Yeah, I struggle with it because of the Sami Zayn stuff, because it is just the same promo pretty much.
Yes, it is. It is.
So that's a little bit, I wish there was a little bit more substance to that. To me, Ludwig did save it. I thought when that first started, I was like, oh boy, here we go again. Ludwig is becoming really good on the mic. He's becoming really comfortable. I really like his delivery. I like the tone. I like the way that he delivers his lines to where like he lets the crowd kind of soak it all in. I really like that. As for the Gunther and Ludwig kind of getting teased against each other, I like that as well. Obviously, we're going to get that one day, and that's going to be fantastic. But Ludwig is quickly growing again and again and showing why he deserves to be in more matches and more feuds, more screen time. But him versus Sami scares me next week. Obviously, he's going to get the loss next week. Set up the Gunther Sami stuff. Just put him in something more meaningful, and I think I'd be extremely happy.
Popping or dropping?
Oh, I gotta pop this.
So I do want to finish one thing though. When I was sitting here just in my head right now, it just popped in my head. Are they just rehashing the Alpha Academy storyline into the Sami Zayn Gunther stuff? I mean, this is literally what Sami did with Chad, except he was champion. It was Sami turning Otis against Chad, and now we're sitting here. I mean, he's the challenger now, but it's Sami turning Ludwig against Gunther. Are we walking that line a little too thin there?
I guess I didn't think about that. I didn't think about that, but now that you mention it, I'm like, yeah, I could see the similarities there. I feel like maybe that's the way Sami thinks that he has a chance, or if he turns people against themselves and maybe he can slide in and get the wins, things like that. Maybe that's what they're going for. But yeah, it didn't seem, I know we've teased the Ludwig Gunther stuff before. Tonight was the first kind of real acknowledgement on that. But to me, at least, it kind of came from left field. Like, I don't remember Ludwig giving any sort of reasoning as to him turning on Gunther or want, you know what I mean?
I mean, he's been called the mouthpiece for a while, and that's always people's little digs at him. And you know, he had the promo packages about, you know, he kind of even acknowledged he's not just that. So I can see the turning. It's just when you just had this sort of same story with the same personnel leading the charge, it does feel like we're walking a little bit of a line where it can feel like, you know, I've seen this before. We'll see what they end up doing with it, but hopefully Ludwig turns on his own accord, and Sami doesn't just talk him.
And they have the whole, like, I'm not Gunther's sidekick thing. I get that sort of thing, so it would make sense. But like I said, first time it's been kind of acknowledged. But I guess Sami has always kind of done that. I guess he would say that, like, maybe not turning against somebody, but like standing up for those that are overlooked is probably how Sami would say that.
Good point. We get a Kathy Kelly with Damien Priest, and when Finn interrupted Rhea's interview earlier, Liv Morgan interrupted Damien Priest, and she just kind of crapped on him. She just kind of shit on him. She's like, how sad, a former champion already past his prime. You're already a has-been. He goes, by the way, it was so easy for the guys to leave you, they don't even care. And Damien's like, I can't believe that out of everybody in Judgment Day, you're the only one with the balls. And Rhea's going to make you choke on those balls. And I was like, that's mean. And he was like, I'm going to go beat up your boyfriend now later. And she wasn't happy about that. But then when we get a match, Bianca Belair taking on Iyo Sky. And it's just like, yep. Sit back, relax. You got some food, some popcorn. Go pop it. Obviously, Jade would come out with Bianca, and Kairi Sane was there with Iyo Sky, but we got absolutely no effery. They sat there and they let these women cook, and I was like, thank you.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's nice to see not effery all the time.
Right.
I mean, I know with the PFC and the Natalya stuff, we didn't get the effery either there, but
no, the effery was just the fact that they made me watch it.
I didn't care about that.
They made me watch it. That was enough effery for me. They would do the back and forth at the beginning where they knew each other's moves. These two obviously have history. They would even kip up at the same time, and they would do the whole like head nod, like, "Oh, we're about to have a banger, ain't we?" And banger they did. But Bianca would start this match hot, and she is just the best. I mean, she was doing all of her signature stuff, her like moonsault flips over where she lands on her feet, and she was doing like the high steps when she was doing the suplexes, and you know, she was doing her cocky like butt slap thing. I mean, she was in her bag. She would absolutely dominate until Iyo would finally get an advantage, and she would kind of reverse a move and fall on Bianca's knee, and it looked like Bianca was gonna sell that the rest of the night, but she didn't end up doing it.
Yeah, I don't know if it was inadvertent or what, but it did look like it hurt. I mean,
it looks like it hurt.
Right on the knee.
Anyway, Iyo would do what she does. Top rope missile drop kicks. We'd have Bianca getting moonsault 1-2-0s. We'd have Iyo Sky getting suicide dives to Bianca and pushing her over the announce table. I mean, this had all your bells and whistles that you would want when you see Iyo Sky versus Bianca Belair on a card. If you can tape Raw or if it's on somewhere, I encourage you to go watch it. These women put on. And Bianca would even do the thing where she got Iyo in a standing suplex, and walked up the ring stairs into the ring and then just threw her. I was like, I can't do that.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
Bianca would go to the top rope after that, and she would go for a 450 because, of course, she can also do that. Iyo would get her knees up, and she was like, I'm going to go for my over the moonsault. When she did that, before she could do it, Bianca popped right back up, got her in the KOD, and I was like, here we go. She goes to the KOD. Iyo lands it, rolls Bianca up. 1, 2, 3. Iyo Sky gets a roll-up win over Bianca Belair. It shocked the hell out of me. I was like, damn, really? Raw. Bianca taking a clean loss here. That's crazy. It was phenomenal. Pops to the moon on that one.
Yeah, I don't know how you can't pop this.
Yeah.
This was fantastic. Like he said, if you haven't seen this match, go watch it. We don't do it justice here.
Yeah.
It maybe 20, 25 minutes maybe in terms of time. Just fantastic. Both of them look amazing. Both of them did amazing. Definitely was shocked to see Bianca take the pin. Storyline wise, though, it does make sense. Damage Control does want a shot at those tag titles. So what better way to kind of get that ball rolling, get that feud picking up than to have her get pinned tonight? I assume maybe down the line, whenever Kyrie is cleared, maybe you get a Jade Kyrie and you go that way and you have those other two fight, and then maybe you combine them. Something like that.
I am so excited for this feud.
Yeah.
Just because all 4 of them are going to put shows on. Kyrie Sane and Iyo Sky are just money in the ring. Bianca's absolute money in the ring. I think she's the best in the ring there is. And then this is your test for Jade of like, all right, step up to the plate. And I think that she will absolutely shine. This is just good stuff. And Bianca being able to take a loss like that on a Monday Night Raw, it's like this is some respect at a level, and it's just fun. It's awesome.
Yeah, and you said the test for Jade, absolutely, definitely a test. Hopefully she does step up. It's kind of like the perfect pairing because Kyrie and Iyo are so good in the ring. Plus you get that kind of, they was talked about in the old games, you get like the cruiserweights versus the giants, right? Like you get Jade, who is just a strong specimen who can just manhandle Iyo or Kyrie, and then you get them using their speed. Like, it's just going to be fantastic.
Yeah, I can't wait. I absolutely can't wait.
You could sign me up for multiple months of this feud.
Yeah.
Right now.
We got a bunch of backstage stuff. We got Damien and Rhea backstage, and they said they're going to tear Judgment Day apart for once and for all tonight. We get an American-made promo. They're just fine after losing to the Howdies. They said, you thought we're done? Ha! No more weirdos. You can't kill Chad Gable. You can't kill the American spirit. And you can't kill American Made. We make history. And I'm like, yep, I love you guys. We get Jay backstage with Ilya, and Ilya basically wishes him luck whenever he faces Braun, and they yeet together, and Jay walks away. And when Jay walks away, the Judgment Day saw that, hey, you're talking to Jey Uso. Why are you talking to Jey Uso? And Finn's like, hey, man, you should probably start picking your friends differently, choosing your friends. And Ilya, instead of being like, yes, sir, I'm outnumbered by 5 people here, I should probably just say what they want me to hear. He's like, nah, I respect them, unlike you guys. And Finn basically goes, well, Dom's got a match tonight, so we don't have time to mess with you, but consider this a message. Next time, it won't be delivered so nicely.
Yeah, and I immediately think, right off the top of my head, him versus like Ilya versus like JD, I think would be a great way to kind of start that.
Oh yeah,
JD getting the singles match, he could sell. He is amazing in the ring. You could sign me up for that. I don't want him full on feuding with the Judgment Day.
No,
but give us some matches there.
Oh, 100%. Ilya Dragunov in a ring, I'm in. I don't even need to know who's facing. But we would get our main event. Dirty Dominic Mysterio would take on his former mentor, Damien Priest, former champion, Damien Priest. Obviously, Dirty Dom had J-Day by his side, and Mr. Damien Priest had Miss Rhea Ripley by his side, who is still limping. That left leg is in a what do you call it?
It's in a brace.
Brace, thank you.
Yeah, it's no crutches this week.
No crutches. She's getting
slowly
better. Yeah, is she going to be like 100% by bad blood? Because that might be a problem.
It depends what they do next week, I guess. The next couple weeks, I guess.
This match starts and Damien Priest be angry. He comes at Dirty Dom with about all the aggression that you could ask for. He's shoulder tackling him. He's picking him up and just slamming him in every fashion. He's high kicking him. He's putting him in shoulder locks and throwing him around. Dom looks like he's just a little kid in a ring with a grown ass man, and honestly, he kind of is. But he was getting the absolute best out of best of Dominic Mysterio. But eventually, we would get some distractions here and there, which would lead to Dominic getting a missile drop kick, or just a drop kick, I guess, to Damien's leg, and they gave him enough time to roll out of the ring. And you would think that Damien Priest would look outside and be like, "That's a lot of men out there. I shouldn't go out there." But he was like, "No, I'm pretty badass. I don't care who's out there.
I've taken all these people out before by myself."
What are you talking about, Will? I'm just gonna kill them all. He steps over the rope and just goes out there, and he picks up Dom, throws him off the apron, and J-Day's just sitting there watching. And I'm like, "What are you doing?" Until Carlito finally gets involved a little bit, and he just gets smacked.
Yeah, that wasn't cool.
It wasn't cool. And Liv's just sitting there saying, "Please don't hurt my daddy Dom."
Mm-hmm.
And Damien ends up hitting his head off the announce table. He's doing all the stuff. But eventually, Damien rolls Dom back in the ring, and when that happens, Carlito gets back up and messes with Damien again. And this gives Dom enough time to suicide dive. He suicide dives right into Damien. He flies over the announce table, takes out Wade. No, that was later. That was a later one. But
you can save that one.
Yeah. But so we're finally getting some advantages here. Dom can't do anything unless the Judgment Day is getting involved, which I don't mind. That makes sense. That's the heelish thing to do. Dom has no chance against Damien Priest. I do believe that.
Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree. I would like just a smidge of offense.
I agree
from him, but I do understand the principle there.
When this happened, he would take advantage. He would get a little bit of offense. Obviously, it's all because of the distraction, so he didn't do it himself. But he'd get some tornado DDTs in. He'd get the advantage. He looked outside, and Rhea was able to distract Dom herself. She had taken his shirt.
Yeah, he threw his shirt on the apron basically, or on the rope, and she took it and just
started flossing with it.
Yeah,
the good old towel floss when you get the hard to reach areas, huh?
Makes me think of that kid from Ed, Edd and Eddie, Jimmy, that had this.
Yep.
Yeah,
I know exactly what you're talking about. Not good. But this advantage for Dom wouldn't last very long because Damien would Hulk up. He would Hulk up.
Yeah.
Every bit of it. He'd start destroying Dom. But Finn would distract again, and Dom would go for a roll up. But Damien get back up, give him the broken arrow. 1, 2, Liv places Dom's foot on the rope. Good for Liv.
Did her job. But when she did this, Rhea out of nowhere spears the ever-living hell out of her. They go flying over the announce table where they take out our boy Wade Barrett. So Wade Barrett's going to come out of retirement to beat the hell out of Liv Morgan.
Oh,
and Wade's trapped under them.
Yeah,
they're on top of Wade Barrett.
He's had worse days, all right?
Oh, yeah, I think he even says, he gets back on the commentary. He's like, "All right, am I back? I'm back." And they're like, "Are you okay?" "Yeah, I'm fine. Best day of my life."
Did he actually?
Yeah.
I missed that.
Yeah, Wade has had some good one-liners tonight. I was very happy.
What a legend. Anyway, when Rhea does this, of course, all hell breaks loose for a couple seconds here. But Dom ends up back in the ring by himself. Damien rolls in, but Dom's able to give him a drop kick. He falls into the rope. He hits the 619 on him, but when he goes up to do the frog splash, he goes ahead and misses. And when that happens, good old Damien Priest gives him a South of Heaven where he throws him about 400 feet in the sky first and puts him through the mat at 400 miles an hour. It looks real good. Dom knows how to take a South of Heaven. 1, 2, 3. Damien does win this, but literally, if the ref counted to 4, Judgment Day would have already been there.
Yeah.
And the rest of the Judgment Day already there, beating the holy hell out of Damien Priest. Dom backs up and he's just kind of laughing. Rhea puts him in a headlock over the rope. She's trying to squeeze his head off, but Liv is able to pull her leg off the apron, her bad leg, throws her into the steel steps, and then all hell breaks loose, right? Judgment Day's beating the hell out of Damien. Liv's beating up on Rhea. Liv hits an Oblivion on Rhea Ripley, and Finn Balor hits 3 coup de grace. Not 1, not 2, but 3 coup de grace. Show ends with J-Day looking real strong here as a group. I like it. I'm totally okay with Damien getting the win over Dom. Like you said, I would have liked a little bit more standalone offense from Dom, but they did such a good job at making it feel like Judgment Day could do the whole distraction thing whenever they wanted, that they felt like a good team tonight, and I like that. I'm going to give this all a pop.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a pop as well. I don't know. Part of me originally, when the ref counted 3, I was like, dang, like Damien won. And I understand Damien was going to win. I never would have picked Dom to win this match anyway. But I would have liked the numbers game to play an advantage. I was like, originally, I was like, dang, like just another week goes by. But like you said, as soon as the ref counts 3, it's an attack. Judgment Day got that kind of power back. They got that feeling of they can attack whenever again. It felt like there was some credibility again. So then right after that, I was like, okay, I'm good. I'm fine with this here. I was a little surprised personally. Did Jay come out, right?
Oh yeah, Jay comes out. You're right. Sorry about that. I missed it. Jay comes out. Braun Breaker spears him out of nowhere. So that was literally it. You didn't even see where Braun ran from. Mm-hmm. He kind of he was in his full black hoodie, so he was able to take Jay out there. But that was a 30-second thing.
Yeah, I was a little surprised maybe he didn't get in there quicker, I guess I would say. But with obviously what happened to him, it makes sense. Braun Breaker speared the ever-living hell out of him. He walks off. Judgment Day stands tall. It almost feels like at this point, Judgment Day, we always talk about adding another female member. I feel like Liv got some credibility here, even though Liv, over the past 2 weeks, at least, it's almost as if they don't need one. I still think they do, but they're almost to the point again where Liv feels like a credible champion again.
I'm 50-50 on it because it's still like how we were okay with Dom not getting much offense here tonight makes sense because it's Dom. Like you believe that. Dom's a rat. Love him to death, but that's what he is. He's a rat. He doesn't just beat you straight up unless you're like in his league in terms of like size and skill.
Right.
But like, so I'm okay with him having to get the advantage through this means and that means. Liv still hasn't just straight up looked Rhea in the eye and gotten the advantage. And the difference there is she is the world champion. She is still the champion. So I still need her to get like a eye-to-eye, we battle, and I get the advantage this time in a little. I mean, she could hit her with a weapon, right? Like they could start to scrap, and then she grabs something, hits her with it, and then that's how she gets the full advantage. But like just something more like that, because tonight was even another one of those moments where Rhea had dismantled Liv, and then because Rhea was doing something else, Liv was able to jump on the moment.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair. Yeah, I think just last week though with the crutch attack, and then her getting the oblivion, even though it was because of some help, it kind of at least has established something for me because Liv continued to run and she's at least standing in there now. She may need some help and she's kind of still cowardly and stuff, but I think we're taking the steps in the right direction. So hopefully if they keep going on this track, maybe they don't add a female member, but I still think they probably do.
One thing I want to end on, we're now probably, 3 or 4 weeks into this. Are we bought into the Terror Twins versus Judgment Day thing at this point? Have they done a good enough job at reestablishing the Judgment Day and backing off on Super Terror Twins to where we're officially like, oh, okay, I do like this feud. I'm looking forward to the match.
I don't think so.
Really?
I still think a few weeks ago really left that bad taste in my mouth. I know they are trying to save it, and it's like they've taken the correct steps, I feel like, to try to. Like, it's like, okay, they press this correct button, they press this correct button, and we're slowly getting back to that. I think there was so much damage done, and even tonight you saw that Priest was still pretty much able to fend off Finn and JD and Carlito ringside during his match and still get the win. That's probably a little bit where I am leaning towards, but they're slowly getting there.
I would say I'm leaning more toward yes, I'm interested again, just because I was such a big proponent of like, I want Finn to be the leader. I want to see Finn on a big stage, and they are heavily leaning into that now. And I like the 3 coup de grace. I would obviously like to see a little bit more from Dom in terms of just holding his own. And Carlito is still absolutely just useless, and even JD to some extent.
Yeah.
But we're leaning enough in the right direction that I'm looking out like, okay, we still got 3 more weeks to Bad Blood. By that time, I think I'll be totally bought in.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I do think that when you ask about the Terror Twins versus the Judgment Day, that is a different feeling than I have as opposed to Priest versus Finn.
Oh, yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yes. Well, how do we feel on that one?
I mean, I'm ready for that one.
Yeah,
like, I'm
me
excited
too.
for that. But
Me too.
I do feel like Judgment Day as a whole feels still kind of disposable, but Finn is kind of established right now, so it's kind of like a tough give and take. So in terms of the Terror Twins versus the Judgment Day, I'm still kind of like, but Priest versus Balor, I'm ready for.
Fair enough. Well, another good episode of Raw. We're popping it. Nothing too crazy good, but like a solid show. This is a great solid show. This should be what weekly television is. Mm-hmm. And honestly, tonight would have very much been helped by 2 hours. I think. So,
yeah, I think there would have been some stuff you could have cut out.
Yeah. So,
and I think they're slowly probably starting to do that anyway to get ready for it.
Yeah, but let us know in the comments what you thought about this week's episode. Follow us on all of our socials at COD WrestlePod, COD WrestlePod. Listen to our podcast wherever you get your podcasts at, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, etc. And if you want to talk to us during Raw, SmackDown, PLEs, or just during the day, talk about some wrestling, we got a Discord. Get to our link tree in our bio. That's where you'll find us. Anyway, I'm Will. That's Brandon. We are the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast, and we will see you next time.